pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll have a chance to look at the agenda for the day. Any additions, corrections, or conflicts of interest? If not, the agenda stands approved as printed. We'll move on to the reading of the minutes.
August 4th, 2026, the Board of Supervisors met at 9 a.m. with Craig Dozark, Chair, presiding. Members present: Schultz, Mulbauer, Dozark, Heiden, and Rosberg. Minutes of the previous meeting were read and approved. A motion was made by Rosberg, seconded by Mulbauer, to approve the T-Mobile lease on the courthouse tower. Motion passed unanimously. A motion was made by Schultz, seconded by Heiden, to approve the approval and disapproval of the 2026 disabled veterans homestead and military tax credit applications. Motion passed unanimously. The board had a discussion about vehicle assignment and take-home vehicle policy. No action was taken at this time. The board had a discussion about budget amendment evaluation guidelines policy. No action was taken at this time. A motion was made by Heiden, seconded by Rosberg, to approve the appointment of Pam Sosman to Region 12 Regional Housing Authority Board of Directors for a one-year term, October 1st, 2026, ending September 30th, 2027. Motion passed unanimously. On motion, duly seconded, board adjourned at 10:58 a.m. Agendas for the next meeting are posted and available at the courthouse on Friday, 4:30 p.m. preceding the next meeting.
Thank you, Terry.
You're welcome.
Any additions or corrections to the minutes? Now they'll stand approved as read and printed. Move on to supervisor reports. Jean.
Thank you for letting me go first. I don't have a whole lot of things that I did last week. It was an extremely busy week with just different things that were going on that weren't really meetings, just people having conversations about things. And have my meeting next week with the West Central Iowa, and we'll also be at ISAC. That's really to report that I can think of until Kyle starts talking about what he did, because I might have been there too. So.
Well, with that, then we will go on to Kyle.
Well, we'll get a good segue.
Yeah. This won't take long unless I spur some for Gene.
Yeah, there we go.
My week was supposed to be at a meeting at Conservation Board on Wednesday, but I did not remember that I was also double booked to be in Lincoln, Nebraska for Wednesday night meeting and a Thursday meeting for my private obligation. So I had that instead. So once a year meeting. But the more driving, you know, it's been busy, but we've got a lot of projects, policies, and ordinances on the book. It's like sometimes I don't know which one I should be working on. So I think as a board, do we maybe need to prioritize? I think data centers ordinance should be our top priority.
I agree.
I agree. That's where most of the conversations and
I think it's, the conversations are getting closer to the counties that surround us. The county's being approached for one at this moment.
Yep.
They have a moratorium in place, so they have. We're so close on our ordinance that I said it can 2 weeks probably before we can get it with the business of the courts that our attorneys tied up.
You get 10 days of trials for sure. Oh,
The next 10 days?
yeah, starts this morning.
yeah, today's a big
I mean, once there's some miraculous settlement, I'm sure that'll take quite some time.
we'll just
No, I agree. We should probably just do them one at a time. Let's just plug through them, and the first one we should plug through would be the data center one.
I agree.
And
We got the ordinance and the construction permitting.
Yeah. And I think they're both.
Permitting is
Yeah, I think
kind of
we're really,
almost the immediate first thing to deal with, because that's one of them things where they can get it filed. And then if we don't have an ordinance already in place, anything we put in might be a conflict with what they already got started.
Mhm.
We had that with the wind turbine. something to that.
I would think that that wouldn't take too long because we're so close. Maybe some fine tune.
Well, I sent Colin a text about it this morning.
Okay.
But I did see him shortly thereafter with his arms full for the courtroom, so I don't know if he's read that text yet.
So I think that, once we get that, then we can really zero in on the budget amendment deal, because hopefully, because we're in the first month of the new budget year, we won't need that until. It's December. Being
At least
optimistic.
December, you said?
You know, I mean, typically that's when about the first budget amendments start happening, is December. Seems like. I hope they're not sooner than that. We didn't do a very good job as a whole. Some things happen. That can't be avoided. But,
Nope.
hopefully there's enough budget room that people can at least last till December, most likely, unless it's a major. That, and I know Ty brought it up, our correspondence with the DNR in regards to the lagoon at, going to Ricketts.
Animal waste facility.
Yeah, and the way I understood it, Dave had the same understanding I did. The DNR pretty much approved it. We were kind of CC'd to the conversation in regards to if we had any special permitting required. But I talked to our zoning, Tim Perry, and he was gonna go talk to Jared Johansson in regards to needed to be zoned differently because it's not hog barn right there, so technically it needs to be rezoned. Rezoned to what?
Is it a commercial operation then?
That's what I don't know. If we have to be,
Using it to make fertilizer, but if it's for his own, still be part of the ag process then, wouldn't it?
then it's for, what does Kelly Garrett have with these lagoons stashed out all around? Not all around, but there's 4 or so in the county that he has that really not for his own use. So are we did we mess that up already? Or just failed to?
So I mean, is the process just that if they want that, they apply to the DNR? And they have a engineer that designs the plans. Those plans go to DNR. DNR says, yep, that's okay. We're okay with that. And then they kind of this time at least clued us in as to what's going on.
I don't remember ever seeing anything in regards to when.
And then they have to have a construction person build it to the specs that the engineer designed. And then does DNR come back out and check to make sure that it was built the way that, or?
That's a great question.
I did talk to Allison Vance with DNR out of Atlanta, so we talked a little bit about it. She said, I don't know about the zoning, but pretty much just what you said. They go through the process, they get approved. And then, like she said, with the counties, I don't think we have anything off the top of my head that.
It's different than master matrix. It's
Right.
different than that whole
Right,
process, right?
But I don't think we have any specific ordinance or anything like that that says it has to be set back from the house or.
Yeah,
Yeah, where they put it, there's not a house within a quarter mile, that's their own house.
it's normally.
I think as long as we don't have anything specific, then it's just approved by,
Could if it was not owned, if there was property near a system like this and not owned by the person installing the system, could they come to the Board of Supervisors and say something and say, oh, this is really too close to my home, and it's, whatever.
We had that with Steve Struck's deal, remember?
Yep.
I think you're right.
So, yeah, maybe there needs to be something.
It's always,
Just as a start jumping off point or something. I don't
can't be
know. I
within
don't
so
know.
many feet of a
Yeah.
existing home.
They've already checked that.
I think we could
But yeah, this one doesn't.
almost model it after the master matrix, because it has all them setbacks of a quarter mile or whatever that is.
Yeah, I don't know.
150 feet, whatever that number is, I don't remember it off the top of my head, but. Yeah, just.
When was that passed?
It gets repassed every year, every January, the board,
opts to follow the master
Yeah,
matrix.
yeah.
Which I think the DNR maybe can change that accordingly.
Right.
on their end, but we just opt in. to
Yeah.
Follow that, which takes us out of the
Equation.
equation.
So the DNR makes up the master matrix
Yes,
and we just approve whether or not we're gonna follow it.
right.
And we have, I mean,
Right.
as long as I remember.
Because then that at least gives you a jumping off point as far as setbacks and things like that. But,
Maybe the DNR's got something in regards to this too.
yeah, I don't know.
The not so master matrix, we could call it.
I mean, that's why I brought up to Colin when we were talking about the data center thing. Is that, can you make an ordinance that, you know, anything that's built has to be so far away from the
Yeah.
neighborly landowners' house has to be
Right,
so many decibels, it can't create this much noise, no matter what it is.
Yeah.
You can't do it. And he was like, man, no, you can't do that.
Oh,
Can't have a blanket policy like the insurance company says.
yeah,
Exactly, exactly. It seems like you should be able to do
Right,
that.
and
So
maybe
anything that
addendum
comes
to
up, comes in the
specific
future
things.
that we don't think about,
Can't foresee.
Mhm.
Can't tell these ordinances.
supersede that.
in this email, it says that the DNR. also
Email from-
It came, was Kyle.
Is this the one that
Yeah.
Ben
Came from Kyle?
Ben, started with Ben.
Ben forwarded it to
Yep,
us?
Yep. The DNR also specifically told Jared to get in touch with the Board of Supervisors and or zoning to see what the local requirements may apply. So that sentence right there, he's doing basically what the DNR is telling him to do. And so it's up to us then to decide. Now, has he not started building it already?
I think it's pretty much done.
No, I didn't want to say that.
I think it's, you know, with our local dirt contractor, you know, you start on a Saturday and by Monday it's about done. They're bringing the whole fleet of equipment and.
Yeah.
But he did to reach out to Tim and talk to him.
Well, I don't think he had, but, well, I'm not gonna say for sure. I know Tim said he was gonna get back in touch with Jared, so I'm guessing, yes, maybe that conversation happened.
Those are the words I'm leaning on, that they needed to get a hold of us for the DNR for some reason.
So he's building it for ConAgra? Or, I mean, is ConAgra putting stuff in there?
I think there, yeah, it's gonna become a storage facility for ConAgra, but I don't know the ownership and what he is purchasing, that I don't know. I see.
So, I mean, it's-
I'm sure they're probably paying him to take it, I'm guessing.
But I think.
What are
it's-
they taking? What's he putting in there? You know?
Whatever it is, high phosphorus. Extremely high. That's why they had all the bentonite liner and all that had to be put in there,
Going on.
from what I read of it.
Where is the ConAgra, you know, where the ConAgra facility is?
Well, no, this said Council Bluffs, so is that their mailing address or is that the facility they're getting it from?
Right.
A lot of
And it
questions.
may be more than one facility.
Correct.
Yeah.
I think, from what I gather, we are doing what we're supposed to do. So,
Brian, do you know anything about it?
I know nothing about that specifically itself. I do know the setbacks. It'll be required to meet the expectations of the master matrix without having a animal livestock operation tied to it. It's still gonna be animal waste, so it's still gonna have to meet that master matrix expectation. So at that point in time, the board of supervisors is kind of like, okay, we know about it. It's gonna comply with the master matrix. You still have to file it with the county, and then it'll be approved every year, like you guys normally do.
Like a manure management
Because they'll
plan.
have, yeah, because if he plans on spreading it, it'll probably,
He does.
have a manure management plan.
They'll have a manure management plan and everything on it. They'll have all your phosphorus, nitrogen, potassium, all your different makeups of what's out there, and then there'll be a gallons per acre that they'll have to stay within compliance of.
So
And
basically,
knowing the location, I'm sure he meets all that already. Just-
Right.
He's probably putting on one of his farms or has farms around there, so he's gonna have
They've got
adequate
quite a-
number of acres.
Yeah, they've got quite a chunk of ground right there that,
Where's this being put at?
4 miles north of Ricketts and then on the west side of the road.
could it be that we're being notified about it so that when we actually
That,
get,
that's his
that
home
we
farm.
don't say, who is this, what
Yeah,
is this, that we
there's
know
some
that we're
Yeah,
gonna be getting
yeah,
another.
see, that's where Derek used to live.
And by the way,
So, and Jared
it's
now
another
owns
one in
that
Crawford
farm.
County we need to start approving every year. Could that be, just a, hey, by the way, there's another facility?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
don't approve, you mean,
There's nothing to approve though.
no, there's nothing to
No.
approve.
So,
I mean, the manure management plans are just filed in my office.
Correct.
and-
Right, we just acknowledge the filing of
and,
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just, yeah.
but we'll be seeing another one, and I think that it's good to know that we will be seeing another one. So we don't all say, what is this? Where'd this come from? So I think it's just our FYI.
More or less. But
All right.
Ty, I mean, you brought some good questions up and
You
it's
did?
good we researched it. So.
Okay. Anything else, Tom?
I'm gonna have to go drive by it.
Dave?
So I had early childhood state board meeting last week, and we spent a lot of time discussing the designation process. And they get into their appendix A and appendix B and this and that, and, a lot of the talk was about the relationship with local areas and the designation process. And government, of course, can be cumbersome. And the ultimate goal is to get the funds to the services that they directly provide, and not tie up a lot in administration. However, it's a fine line because part of the auditing and accountability, and that takes time for administration to say what it's going. Long story short, we ended up voting to not follow through, or not, I shouldn't say follow through, but to not go forward with the appendix B, which would have, we wanted to sift that out further and know more of what that would actually add to the local areas for extra admin work, extra paperwork and the designation process. We still haven't, I mean, they still have to be audited, they still have to follow their set of rules now. Board kind of left it as, we would really like to reach out to the local areas and work with them on what makes sense. Then there was some talk like, well, I know our chairman brought this up, unity, but I don't go talk to my employees underneath me about policy. And if you're a department head, then you're gonna use my policy.
Yeah,
And then it spurred more conversation. Well, they're not necessarily direct employees, local areas provide the contracts. They go out and get the contracts. They are more of a partner to the state and ECI and HHS on delivering what areas we want to have done, whether it's ice miles or all those things. So we do want their input because they know best how to deliver those contracts and best serve the area they're in. A lot of back and forth on that. And at the end of the day, Jeannie, Brooke and I, Brooke Rosenberg, and the rest of them, we all voted for it, but it's like, we can't hinder our local areas so much that they spend all their time doing this designation process and don't have the input on how to deliver it.
That is a problem. That
And
is a problem.
we said, we want them to be a part of this designation process so that they know, hey, this is the funds in this direction to use, but how do we make sure that it's accountable and that things are being done on time and right? So it's this fine line back and forth of how to best move forward. I still feel like there's this push to want to take over the local areas that,
I think they're trying to drop it on us more like confetti, that, a lot of words going back and forth and a lot of appearing to be aware, but at the end of the day, there's somebody that knows that eventually it's not gonna be confetti, it's gonna be, this is the way it is, like it or not.
Which I get you have to have direction, you have to have guardrails, you have to have all that, but you also have to have, every area is a little bit different. Every area might say that preschool tuition assistance is far more important to us because we have a bigger demand than ice miles. But for the locals to be able to,
Especially with us being now in the region with the lakes area, the demand for, some public health, or some aren't gonna be as much as they're gonna be in other areas, and we're all in that, for us now, we're in a completely different dynamics of who our partners are a little bit, because I don't suppose they have quite the clientele that we have, and so it looks different.
or to me, a prime example, Carroll County. There's a push to use CCR&R, Child Care Resource and Referral, for every local area to have to use them and contract with them for that service. Carroll was not using that.
Oh.
They were using their own firm or contract in their local ECI area. And it was costing them more, but they felt like they were getting a lot more return on it. And I know there's some pushback, well, they're not doing what everybody else, but that's the beauty of the
It works
local
for them,
areas.
it's
It works
working
for
for
them.
them, why break it?
Right.
Since when do we break things or fix things that aren't even really broken?
So interesting
All the
meeting.
time.
All the time.
I wanna add
It's
all
not
the
so much
time.
at this table, we do more damage control at this table.
It just, every meeting that we have, it seems to almost goes around in a little bit of a circle. We get together and everybody's engaged, but nobody really knows for sure how to, where this is all gonna go.
Right.
I mean, it's an ongoing struggle, I think, that just government has on its own when it sees something that they want to try to fix. And now we have to administrate it. We have to somehow make sure that the money gets to the people we want it to get it to, so we need to have somebody oversee it. And that means now we need to have a person in charge, and we need the other people to do it. And it doesn't, sometimes, to me, at least, it's not as efficient as maybe it used to be when, the churches used to do it, or volunteer organizations. We can see, I guess, right here in Crawford County, when we talk about hunger and we say, hey, we need to feed these people, and we have government programs that have the SNAP benefits, or we have the free and reduced lunches, and on the reverse side, we have TAP, and we have Crawford County Hunger Fighters, and all of that is a volunteer organization where they take 100% of the money they get, it goes to food and it goes to go out. We have volunteers that come and help do that. And so, what's that?
Not every community is that fortunate to have that.
No, they certainly are not. They certainly are not. But I mean, it's just that the government isn't efficient when it comes to doing something like that. I mean, I just Googled, just for instance, I just said, I wonder how many people work for Medicare. And Medicare has 6,400 to 6,700 employees, federal employees work for Medicare to take that program and get it out to the public, where you sit there, you go back, and you go, man, what would happen if we just, whatever the dollar amount that is, we gave that per person when you turn 65, and you went out and bought it from a private insurance company, bought whatever program you wanted to buy. Instead of having Medicare administer the program to the people, what would happen if we just gave the people the money and they went to a private insurance company and bought it themselves? Would that be more efficient? I don't know. I'm just asking the question. I think it's too bad that government doesn't ask that question more often. But they don't.
It's one who is.
Instead, they want to expand it, make it bigger, make it more, get more,
Here's one of
it's
the.
always more. So we're not covering enough people. Now we need to cover more people and more people and more people. It just becomes more and more
Where my
expensive
space out.
to the taxpayer.
Yeah.
They never ask about the
I
taxpayer.
always wonder who's paying the 5 to 6 people that call me as a senior citizen on a daily basis.
Quit bringing me in.
To ask me questions about what program I'm on, and it's just like, I just answered these same questions yesterday. Who do you work for? It's just so annoying. I don't understand why they they're just zeroing in on what they want to sell me, what they want to take away from me. Like, Joyce's don't answer. I'm like, where?
You know, while you're on this subject, this is my favorite time, you know, to bring up the Davy Crockett story. What is really the government's responsibility in this? You know, it's not our money to just hand out. And you're not buying anybody's ticket into paradise, you know, by doing the charity for them through tax dollars. You know, I mean, you talked about some communities don't have it. It's because they've adopted the theory that the government pays for it, so I'm not going to worry about it. My tax dollars are paying for it. I'm not going to worry about it. Well, then it's your neighbors you're not worrying about. So it ain't the tax dollars, it ain't your money. It's your neighbors that you're basically confessing you're not going to worry about. I mean, that's something we're not going to solve. You know, that ain't going to get solved right here at the Board of Supervisors in Crawford County. But to me, this is part of the problem that nationally. I will tell you that by us being noisy does get us up in front of the things that happen in DC. This is one of the things that I've been very noisy about at NACO, and that's Medicaid the exclusion on inmates. I'm not the only guy making noise about it, but once you start getting noise about it, everybody jumps in because it's bothering every county in America. Well, at least in Iowa, I should say. But obviously, when I brought it up there, there's more states that are having this problem than just
And it makes no sense why county, on that note, why counties Medicaid does not cover inmates. It does state and federal, but not county. However that got passed down the road, I don't know.
I think it probably goes back to when I was a young supervisor here, I was claiming low hanging fruit. And that's where the state is in regards to, or the county is compared to federal.
crap rolls downhill, Dave, and we're the ones that are sitting there at the bottom catching it all. Us in the cities. The cities aren't having any fun either, trust me.
No.
But it's just, even like with, it's almost not a power struggle, but the locals that know in the local area ECIs. And the state board is kind of in between because of HHS wanting to drive it in their direction. And years ago, it used to be get the funds to the locals and let them best use it. And there's been a shift away from that.
Local control.
If you remember, you know, back during COVID and things kind of changed again to where, you know, back before COVID, our gals, our employees would actually go to houses and check. Now they're writing up reports that they've not even really seen the people they don't even know. And remember when they used to actually knock on the door and come in and say, hey, how are these kids living and how, you know,
And it shows.
and it shows. And there's so many restrictions on all of those things of what you can and cannot do. And so many reports that you have to do that we've lost touch with what we're really supposed to do because it's so intense on reports of what you do, what you can't do. And there once again,
But
could be kids falling between the cracks while we figure this out.
Gene, and we know, I mean, we've done the studies throughout the years with when the money gets to where it needs to be, to those kids, those families, through ECI, that the return on investment always pays off.
It does.
And it helps them get a better start. They're not having health issues or issues with going to jail down the road. I mean, it gets them in a better place that actually the money was well invested. We know that through our studies, but it's getting
And identify
efficiently.
Who needs that help. That boots on the ground person that is helping identify how best we can use this money. We're struggling how to get some boots on the ground. I foresee the day nobody's ever gonna leave their office because everybody's.
And you see, I mean, how we said this past, we had 40 some ECI areas. Now we're down to 20, 30.
Not very many.
But bigger isn't necessarily always better either. You look at that trying to cover a bigger area.
Absolutely.
or
A lot
presence
of time in a car.
Isn't where it needs to be.
A lot of time in cars, just driving around, so I gotta go to this place and just, I'm still not a fan of the whole process. I'm very patient, waiting for just to funnel down. But I'll still say it's better than the other rollout they had with mental health.
Yeah, we still haven't heard from Iowa primary care yet either.
I mean, because we all see the Elder Bridge Agency on the aging, when they come in and they say, here's what your 12,000 or whatever, we give them 10,000, you know, what the return was for the county, and it comes back at what, 18 to 1 or something like that, 20 to 1, it usually comes back around that number. That here's what we gave back to the citizens, to the senior citizens of Crawford County, and what we gave to them. And you just wish you could see that, you know, that's on a local level. It's
Ding, ding, ding.
right. On a
Where should
national
all
level,
where should all
we
the
don't see that.
the human things, where should that be managed? Where the people are the closest to you. When it gets to DC or it's the state house, I mean, the state's relatively close, but they still don't deal with the stuff all the time, like what you guys are doing that are in the early childhood or, you know, and we actually hold them, we're better at holding the individuals accountable when they have to come in yearly for funding, you know. So to me, but the more they take away from us, the less is going to be available for those things. I mean, you know, I get that we want to lower property taxes, but there's a trade-off. There is a trade-off. We're going to get a good taste of that within about 5 years. If this current property tax bill holds within about 5 years, I think it's going to take about that long for some of us that had some sense. Some of the counties will probably be within a year or two.
Dave was saying
Short.
5 months.
What's that?
Dave's saying 5 months.
You think some of them be 5 months? That could easily be.
When you budget next year.
Yeah.
You're gonna see it.
You know, and yeah, some of the low hanging fruit, Kyle's like paper to lunch. And some of the low hanging fruits gonna get dropped off. Great. So
Your history lessons about going through and how this board used to sit here and decide who got a load of firewood or coal or whatever it was.
Yeah, we did. They did.
And now that pile of firewood coal has moved to Des Moines or Washington DC, and people aren't gonna do it no more.
Well, what's interesting to me, and I mean, over the years, it always seems like there's a circle. State wants to take over and knows best, and dictates, and then they realize, oh, we need the locals and the inputs and how to administer it, then they move away from it. Then all of a sudden, like behavioral health, I mean, we're gonna take it back over and know what's best. And yet, we haven't seen Iowa primary care here, the disability access points are picking up their slack. And taking away our input for what best serves our area.
Remember I sat last year with, you know, this independent group with, and it was like, why don't we know about you? Still don't have it.
And you reached out to them and we still haven't.
Yes, you're exactly right. You saw it right up there, first person saying. I don't know.
And that's, I guess, that's our political system. It varies depending on the electorate, people that are voting, and the people that are running. Is that, you know, if they want, I guess, bigger government, then they're saying, hey, we need to fill this need of these people that are out there. The government isn't meeting this, so therefore I'm going to run and I'm going to institute this to make sure that that's met. And sometimes the people say, yeah, I'm all for that. And the next time it seems like they go, you know what, the government's too much involved. Look at our tax rate. Look at how much taxes we're paying. We want to pay less taxes. Let the people figure that out for themselves. We are individuals. We do have the ability to think and reason on our own, that we can make those decisions on ourselves. We don't need the government to do that. And people vote, yeah, that's right. You figure it out. I don't want to do that. And it seems like that's the never-ending cycle that happens in America and has been for 250 years.
Well, if you take his analogy of wood that we need here in Crawford County to give to our people, and all of a sudden the state says, well, send us all of your wood and we'll send back what we think you need.
Right.
And by the,
We knew how much, the board of supervisors knew approximately how much wood they were gonna need for the winter.
but by the end of
And
the
then they
day,
sent it all out there and.
you can get one log back. You know,
Yeah.
you sent They're all up there, and now you get your one log back to give to all the people that you should have just been able to directly give it to them. And that's just kind of what, I think it's perfect analogy of how this really works.
Which goes back to the locals really need to have more say in what we
That's
do.
what I was trying to say. We know what to do with the wood here. Why do we have to send it to you and then you give us back what you think we need after you've paid like 10 layers of people to decide what, that's the other problem. You get more people that,
I'll pay somebody to truck the wood to Des Moines.
right, yeah,
Pay people to stack the wood in Des Moines and put it in inventory of the wood in Des Moines and check it for beetles.
right,
and
right,
stuff.
right, right.
You
And
gotta pay
that's
for all that.
somebody that
When it was
just,
wood that was native in Crawford County and stayed in Crawford.
yeah, yeah. So there's kind of the
You know, just the layer,
simple
just
answer
keep
to the
building
problem.
in.
Well, and I
Why
think
can't we
that's
just
too,
keep our wood?
Right.
even with like.
Said we get wood from Johnson County.
But like
We
ECI,
ship ours to Des
We
Moines, we get back.
shipped our good wood
Right.
up there. We got some crappy wood back.
Right.
but there has to be the communication and the trust that the local areas know what's best and is working so that the state or the state board or HHS, you know, they're working together and they know that, okay, we see what you're doing, we understand that there isn't anything, you know, you still have to watch the money isn't misspent, and things like that, but,
The paperwork,
right.
the paperwork that these agencies have to do is a whole other layer again. Yeah, so.
I mean, it used to be, I think the adage was that for every dollar that got sent to Washington DC, they put out 72 cents. So, you know, for every dollar they take, they give out 72 cents. So 28 cents goes to administration. So wouldn't it be more efficient if I just gave my dollar to, you know, if you're giving it to Porfield, kind of just give him a dollar.
Mhm.
That'd be direct.
Yeah.
Without the administration. But that's not the way it works.
Solved a lot.
Ty.
He's getting nervous.
I'll just start. I only had one meeting yesterday. I had a meeting. It was the ISACs
Oh, yeah.
directors meeting. And just we kind of went over stuff for next week's ISAC annual conference, business meetings for the supervisors and stuff like that. A lot of initial minutia on who's going to run what at the meetings and stuff. And I think we've got some good, there'll be a lot of data center talk, a fair amount of data center talk at the meetings. They were trying to figure out if we had some that we wanted to mix in with, like when we get together with the auditors or assessors and different things like that. I think we'll probably do a little bit more of that on the Friday. We might have something if anybody wants to stay for, so I don't know. They were just talking about it. I think Lonnie will probably make a couple of decisions between him and Rachel. But we're giving we've got one of the senators will be giving an award to at our meeting. I don't want to announce the name yet. But
Don't let the cat out of the bag.
yeah. Then property tax update stuff. We'll have some classes on that. We'll have an update on that from Lucas and what have you. Some of the things we were considering, and Rachel and Lonnie will figure it out, but like site zoning and stuff on the data center stuff, communities, you know, betterment stuff on it, you know, water and energy, next steps after you actually have them come in, you know, once we get, I shouldn't say once they come in, once our zoning and all of our ordinances are all in place, you know, we're gonna have some next steps, you know. We've been discussing some stuff, you know, but we're probably a little ahead of a lot of the other counties, believe it or not. But it tells you where a lot of the counties are. But some of them are actually further ahead. The big ones are further ahead because they got bigger staffs to deal with this. You know, we deal with this a little bit on each one of our own throughout a week, and then we bring it together just before a meeting and try to throw something together in an agenda. It's tough, you know. But in any event, I think we're doing okay. But I think we're going to have a pretty good conference next week. I seen in the folder we had the stuff I know it's got some, in the red, it must have been our amendments that for the 28E on the reservoir.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna get a hold of Joe. I'm gonna go find somebody with a color copier so I can give a copy of this to Joe to go over, and he probably will wanna run it by the other two entities. And if that can go, I think we can put this on for approval, because I think that was pretty much all that we wanted to put into this 2080 for amendments, where it was in red. You take a look at it, Cal, most of it was.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm gonna take care of that this afternoon. I also have a noon meeting. And if anybody wants to hang around and do the Zoom with me, it is data center stuff.
With who? Who's your meeting with?
Which one is this one? Gosh, I have so dang many of them, Craig. Let me pull it up in here. I was in the, I think this one is, I think it's maybe a NACO one. Anyway, data centers, it is Cameron Leonard. So I'm pretty sure this is on NACO level. It's understanding revenue, risk, and long.
Nationwide.
Yeah.
People are being.
Yeah, so it'll have like
Not
examples
exclusive to
from,
the state of Iowa.
well, it's gonna have, it's pertaining to revenue, risk, and long-term value. It's gonna be a series of these.
Okay.
Another round of this stuff. I mean, I think they figured out at our annual conference, this is a national priority, and it's not going away. And they're gonna happen somewhere.
Yep.
So let's prepare, especially, and that was a big point that I made. We need more help preparing for our rural counties. It would be easy to take it, lot more easy. It would be more easy to take advantage of us. I mean, my English is really hitting that bottom right now. It'd be, you know, to take advantage of rural counties. But first of all, we're always looking for extra help financially. So sometimes you look like the kid at Christmas. Oh, this toy is great, but is it? I mean, if you're prepared for the toy, then it's probably great. But if you aren't, it'll probably break or break you. But so I mean, that's at noon today. So as soon as this is over, I suspect we'll be done by then. But anyway, I can't remember what some of them other ones were, citing stuff and different things, but this one's about revenues and what have you. That was one of the things that was actually brought up out there at NACO is what are the benefits of having it? And, you know, we've had some discussions about some of the other things that we think we could do. I think part of this is that as the five of us is basically sit down and negotiate with this, you know, maybe one or two of us do the negotiating, since only two of us can show up in any one thing, that, you know, do the negotiating, but on behalf of all five of us, the input from all five of us. I think that's where you're going to get your community benefit from. Otherwise, everybody will be looking for their own personal business benefit. See what I'm saying? And we're the five that are responsible to the folks in Crawford County. So I think if we sit down and talk about if we do all this, which seems to me that we're not closing the door for business, so we need a plan to make sure that we're the best prepared we can be. And what is our community benefit going to be about this? And this is a pretty good start in this meeting, understanding the possible revenues. There's some of these out there that are really cooking and help. There's some of these people out there that really want to work with their communities, enhance their image. I sat there out there at NACO and got to listen to a gal, very bright, but she is like what Andrea is for ISAC, or, you know, we got our director on the national level, Matt, you know, them, she did that for the data centers organization or association, and she really said they're trying to enhance their image, because some of the early stuff left a bad taste in people's mouths. You know, some of the stuff from the 90s and probably early 2000s left a bad taste in people's mouths. And what industry hasn't had? I mean, why do we have a master matrix? For the very same reason. I mean, you know, people take advantage of stuff at first, or just their own ignorance in a new industry. they don't necessarily intend to take advantage. So, I mean, that's why I'm glad that we're getting a lot of help from the national and state level. I mean, and I think we have to take advantage of that, even if we don't do a moratorium. Because I've talked to them that got the moratorium, and even more of them, I don't really know if we really needed that. We needed to just get to work on this, because now we're not working on the ordinance. We're waiting for everybody else to develop one for us, or whatever the case may be. Just
Solar ordinance.
Yeah.
Can we put a moratorium on them in January?
And how much have we done? And that was my point. How much have we done?
I agree with you.
Exactly. I mean, are we missing some opportunities in the meantime? I don't know. But, I mean, it shows you, humanity tends to procrastinate ahead of the common. Tends to. Here's another little pamphlet that was about data centers. Take a peek at it. Nothing we haven't quite talked about, but take a peek at that. And there's a statute. Checklist, county consideration checklist.
We've got a lot of checks.
Yeah, we're talking a couple weeks now since I've had this all fresh in my mind, so I'm having to dig through it. And apparently I need a data center to help me with the pipes. I'm running out of what of that space up there. I need to buy that Google update, you know. Anyway, that's about all I got since Ben's exercise.
Thank you, Ty. Ben, welcome.
Yes.
Tim?
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Start our construction project over there on L51. They put down the center line markings for temporary while we wait for that to clear. But so really no movement has gone on down there. But they will be back to do the rumble strips and finish up with that and do the permanent the edge lines and renew the center line markings at that time. So there's really nothing much else going on there until then. So, but then that project will be a wrap. Casey will start the closeout process on that project. It went very well, in my opinion. So we had really no hiccups, and they came in, did what they do, and it looks good. And hopefully we have a nice highway there. Pretty good stuff. So,
Positive feedback from the people living in that area too, so they were, the company as a whole were did what they could to lessen their footprint or whatever around up there. You know, they received a lot of good feedback, which is good. You never having worked with this contractor in the county before to get that kind of feedback and what we see.
before they started, I had heard good things about them. That the other guys that I worked with them had good feedback from them. So we anticipated that they'd be good, but you just never know.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, hopefully soon we'll have that wrapped up and closing out that project. So, P Avenue, they're working on the grading crew is they're kind of finishing up that segment between 110th and 120th Street. They're still putting in some pipes and whatnot, and then some final finishing on that. But we'll be kind of moving into that next mile of between 120th and there. Still just plugging away there. Bridge crew, they are finished with the stream stabilization project on King Creek there in Vale. They were putting down some grass matting yesterday to finish that up and to kind of hold them banks a little bit if we get a heavy raining event. That would turn out a lot of good work ugly in a hurricane if I got hit a rain, but just as something to protect that a little bit. And then we'll get to unions to come in and do the inspection on it, and we'll apply for the reimbursement on that. So, that's reimburse 8% of the grid control aspects of that structure, so which is pretty well project. So we'll get that submitted. Done deal there. They are also working on the bridge up there on 180th there. So they'll be hunkered down there for a little while. We're replacing that freestanding bridge. But, tearing out approaches, tearing out the abutments and building a bridge. So,
Do you remember that like over by Old Top, still see
Doesn't
that
feel that.
bridge that get there. How many spans was that, sir?
That was three.
That was just three,
So basically, it's gonna be like that, because that was a big grade.
Yeah, I was curious to compare it.
Same size.
Okay, thanks.
Nice pile of dirt. This morning, check some crops. Like I got a great big badger down there working on that bridge. There's a big pile of dirt, so they're busy.
So, yeah, like I said, they'll be there for a while. Roadside crew, they're seeding and mowing, this time of year, August, they resume their seeding. Give it a better chance. We shut it down during the summer to give the seed a better chance in the fall, going back where they've done some ditching and whatnot. And, so it gives the grass a little better chance to get established if we seed a little bit later in the summer. So they are back to that. I believe they're all mowing as well. And they'll continue to mow until the snow flies, so.
And beyond.
And beyond, yeah, sometimes.
They can pull the keys out of Job's hands.
Well, I know the item you mentioned, I want to touch a little bit more on is the iWorks fleet management program that we are currently using. Want a little more information in regards to what that program is, what we use.
I asked Ben to bring that up. I think we've had some email back and forth on that program. And so I asked Ben if he'd just expand a little bit and let us know exactly what we've done in the past with iWork and what we're looking at possibly doing moving forward, I guess.
Well, we began iWorks, I believe it was in 2023. So we haven't been working with it long. And the premise there was we want a system basically to capture all of our assets, our fleet assets in one program. So where we have all the information, bid numbers, big model numbers, pictures, and all in one spot, easily found. And the program also has features to where we capture fuel usage. We found it to be somewhat user unfriendly for guys out there in the field. It's all web-based, so it's not customizable. We use this program, but we're not able to really tailor it to our needs for reporting and whatnot as much as we would like.
So you had to enter the information versus it
Enter in there.
just grabbing the information as you.
Right. It's not plugged into the vehicle of any sort. It's they put in some fuel, they get the amount, they gotta get on their phones or tablets or we try when we provide it to the shops with tablets to be able to go on. But it's somewhat user unfriendly. But they've been using it. Enter their fuel usage, their blade changes, their oil changes to try to capture that information in this program, and they have been doing so. Again, it's got its areas where it lacks. So I can't say I'm 100% happy with it. And we do pay a $5,000 subscription to that annually for this program. And that's somewhat, it doesn't do any of the tracking of any sorts with this program.
Like I said, with the motive.
Right. And the motive, like I said, that was a phone call one day,
And Motive is the other company
Right, that we're now doing
that
this
for now.
period. with.
Can Motive do what iWork does?
Not the same at all, really. It's
I didn't know
iWorks
that.
is more of an asset database.
Yeah.
iWorks is a program, a tracking program for fleet management. A lot of the same stuff, but it's capturing the fuel usage automatically. It's giving you engine diagnostics all the time. It's got a lot of AI capabilities for crash detection, things like that.
That's
A lot of these
the
features-
new one. That's Motive. Is doing that. Is that right?
Pardon?
That's Motive
Correct.
that has that ability or capability.
It does. And what we're trying to do with Motive is, like I said, the tracking, when somebody calls, haven't been by my place in the motor grader, we can look up, see if they have or have not. It tracks their routes. We can,
So the
camera systems.
does Motive require you to have a camera in every
Doesn't
vehicle?
require.
Doesn't require it?
We can have as much or as little, but that technology is there. Not interested in using a good lot of it. It's a lot more than what we were really hoping to do. We're just simply giving it a trial period. It's one of those things where took a call, asked if they got I got 15 minutes to spare for them to bend my hair. And I somewhat liked what I saw on the, as far as their platform, you know, their display on how they track their fleet. And I know that's something that we've kind of been looking at to kind of get away from coloring books, you know, and kind of getting ourselves a little
Which
more
we've been talking
with
about
the
for
times in that
3 years.
regard. So
We have.
we have.
What's the big cost difference between
There
iWork and
you go.
Motive?
That's my question.
iWorks is a $5,000 annual subscription, which I think we can honestly absorb and bring our data into spreadsheets in-house.
How is that, when did we get that subscription? What month, do you know?
Month.
Yeah, is it about up or are we gonna?
It's a yearly contract.
It's a yearly
Yearly
subscription. I don't remember what month. it
Or
is.
do you recall,
I think it's April or May or something. If we don't wanna go forward, when do we get on it?
yeah.
I'm sure if we paid the annual subscription for the next year, I suppose we'd take the next year, if it's something we were gonna get out of, we would take the next year, get our information out of it and get it into our own created database of spreadsheets and then not read.
Can we get a refund?
I can certainly ask, but
I would assume.
I'm not sure.
I would assume never hurts to
It
ask.
never, it doesn't,
ask.
right, right.
But again, this motive, it's not set, you know, that this is a direction I'm pushing or trying to get, I'm simply giving them a 30-day trial period. I know there's, and see what capabilities it has, but really what I'm looking for is the, you know, being able to put on a map or the routes where we've been, be able to track my trucks in the wintertime, you know, to see where we bladed, where we haven't, yeah, see, you know, just keeping track of our fleet in that respect. Cameras to be able to capture accident information should that occur, and the fuel tracking, you know, getting away from that manual entry, you know, by the guys that is a little bit cumbersome now with the iWorks program. Getting away from that, and because this is a plug and play sort of deal. What I don't like about it is that it's not going to utilize it on all of our vehicles. What I figure on 35 trucks, we're looking about 21 grand a year subscription to this, and that's every year. And that's a high cost of $600 per vehicle per year, simply to have the features. But so kind of weighing that into what we want to do. We do have cameras in our vehicles right now.
What cost would that offset? I mean, what would you, like, by tracking all
Right.
that?
Yeah, I have
What would that benefit you?
By spending 21 grand, what do you get back in return?
I mean, will you get 84 back? You know what I'm saying?
I think that's a good point, putting those numbers together.
I think that's kind of insurance. Does it help with our insurance in what we're doing? I don't know if it offsets that amount, or if there is an accident, does it?
Forward facing, I
What's
get
the-
forward facing cameras and everything now. She wants me to pull in my pickup, I ain't quite that brave.
Currently, we do in our trucks, or have forward-facing cameras to capture, you know, occurrence, you know, if there's an accident, we're able to capture that information. These cameras might have a little bit more AI capabilities, but whether or not it merits the cost of the subscription for it, I'm not sure. I'd have to get from Evercom how often we replace some of these cameras we have, what our costs are already, and see how much it's really offsetting. But I still gotta get some of those numbers together.
Okay.
But again, trial period, we're just giving it a whirl.
And does Motive cost the same amount no matter what aspect of Motive you use, I guess? No matter if you use it a whole bunch or use it a little, the cost is the same?
They did mention that you don't use all the AI features. It might be a tad less,
Okay.
you know, per unit.
Right.
I don't think they're talking much of a reduction in that.
Okay.
They want you to use their technology, but again, we have another meeting with online training per se, or a team's meeting with Motive on how to use this program and kind of provide that service as we're doing this trial period and learn a little bit more about it. But again, 30 days, we're not gonna make a decision on this in the next 30 days.
All right.
So just simply giving it a try.
Anything else, Ben? I mean, at 10, it's 9:59. At 10 o'clock, we've got a
Oh,
public hearing.
A couple other things, but, and nothing that can't wait, so.
You've got on their review of curves, so you're still looking at that for the speed limit.
Yep, we did, get a ball bank indicator, to do some review of some curves. We have, there are some that are probably gonna need to be posted down to a different advisory speed, that don't quite handle the 60 mile an hour. And again, it's an advisory speed, not a regulatory speed limit through those curves. So I don't believe it requires a resolution by the board to, put an advisory speed out there on these curves, but, so that's, we got about half a dozen, 6 to 9 curves that we would maybe have a reduced advisory speed.
Thanks, Ben. It being 10 o'clock, we'll entertain a motion to go into public hearing to the rezoning of property.
Makes that motion.
Again,
Second. Motion in a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. We stand in public hearing. Any written comments or anything that was given to the board? Nope. Anybody from the public, I guess, I would like to speak concerning the public hearing on rezoning property from agricultural to residential. Tim, I guess if you want to touch base on that, being the zoning commissioner.
What we have now is the owners of the property here, along with their engineer. We're just trying to get the first initial start of the public hearing going to go off of the property that they own, that is ag. We'd like to turn it into, how many lots is it? 11 lots of residential.
I might have this pass this out. Oh, wait, I think we got one. We got one? Yeah, I think everybody has one. But I got extra.
I had one this.
It's like a thought out.
Terry, I'll
well
just take
thought
a
out
look. Oh,
plan.
here's one.
We got some there.
Basically, once the zoning from you guys gets changed to residential, then they have to start working with the city because they are within 2 miles of city boundaries. So they gotta pretty much follow the city ordinances on all their building construction and such like that. In the long run, if say Denison would go that far out to annex it, therefore they have to have their regulations already pre-adapted.
Is that, Tim, I guess begs the question, is that 2 miles from any incorporated
Yes,
area in the county?
Yeah.
So it didn't matter if it was 2 miles from Schleswig or 2 miles from Cairo.
if you want to put a subdivision.
You want to put a subdivision. Okay, I did not know that.
If you guys have any.
So did the zoning board, did they have any thoughts or
The
any
zoning board
objections?
thought it was a great deal, more land for, residential area, single family dwellings. They're gonna have they'll have covenants when they go through the city board. And basically stick built house, it's gotta be septic tank, you'll have, maintain your own roads, no horses, no cattle, that type of stuff that they're gonna have to come up with.
Because these are what, 4 to 5 acre lots or 3 to 5 acre or not, or are they smaller? 3 to 5?
We've been working on the covenant
Okay.
and restrictions, so been talking to Ryan and Jerry about that.
They can't have horses or any
Livestock?
No.
What they permit, but, they probably permit horses.
Within reason, a couple.
I mean, these excerpts, that's typically what they're for, is for that person that wants to move out of town, and their kids want to show horses or even cattle or whatever.
Yeah,
I mean,
well, if it's within reason, we don't want somebody to start a boarding house for horses. So,
nothing commercial.
correct.
No,
Yeah, I really don't want cattle for cattle operator, right, out there. It's kind of horses, we try to serve fruit ability to. Right now, the city doesn't allow these chickens, so we can, so that, we've got draft of the covenants of that.
we were just looking at, we do have a significant horse community around here, and we have steady shows around here, so I mean, that would probably be some prime customers that are gonna build some nice spec houses. Is it well sited out there, or is that kind of rural water access?
Rural water up to the property, it's pretty handy to put on, small lines we have. About 2-inch line, and then top rural water. They gotta set it in case people wanna water on or something extra. We're going 3-inch line, should be quite adequate.
So we don't have to again, like the motion today.
And we talked.
Right, Terry, if we wanted to wait the second and third, we'd have to put it on the agenda next week.
That lady, septic field, testing.
Wait, Terry.
Test the soil for the.
We put it on the agenda next week, wait the second and third, then have the next action item as changing it from the.
So has there been any interest since you guys have started this,
Probably.
I guess publicly, of people coming up saying, hey, once you get this approved, we'd like to buy, I'd like to buy a lot?
There's, yeah, we've had
Good.
two semi-interested, a third one inquired, so, but we said one step at a time. So,
What do you anticipate these lots selling for roughly? Do you have a price in mind or?
Much as I can get.
So that's we're all business,
Yeah.
and a banker.
It's, I don't know.
What we're debating, if we want to go like a flat price across all of them and kind of generate some more demand, I guess, kind of on a first come, first served basis. You know, obviously the other route is to go, you adjust each one a little bit for pros and cons and size and whatnot. Yeah, we're kind of torn at the moment exactly which way to go, but it'll be right around that 125K price point. If we go blanket price across all the lots.
I appreciate you doing this, you know, we're always struggling for housing, this is obviously piques interest of another, whole other demographic, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, you're right to the time. I mean, it fits a demographic that people may be looking for. And they might have said, the only way we're gonna be able to do this is to leave the community. And this way, it provides that for the community.
They want to stay close to the school.
Exactly.
Yeah, you know, people, suspect that want to be closer with kids, maybe to the Denison School District with kids moving into high school and whatnot. We've talked about even possibly putting a home up there. It's just a good option for people, like I said, that don't want to be close to others in town, they get a little space for growth. And
Have a
like I
second
said,
public hearing,
you know,
wait the third.
Anybody else, I guess, in Zoom land or here in public that would like to speak up or say anything concerning the rezoning of property from agricultural to residential?
Well, I think it's a great opportunity to help with our. Everyone think Crawford County only gets not enough houses. Great opportunity, great use of.
Great
piece of
spot.
land, yeah, I've heard nothing but good feedback from it, so.
Absolutely.
Any other input? If not, I'll entertain a motion to come out of the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Dave, second by Gene. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Staying out of public hearing. I know I guess the rules of public hearing is we have scheduled 3, and that's required. We can waive the next 2 if we would so choose. That's not on the agenda as an item to have entertain a motion to do that, so we will not.
We would look, Kyle.
Let's look at Iowa code, and
Okay.
they could, in the next part of this, waive the second and third hearings. It's not normal to use that practice. Usually it's after the second public hearing to waive the third.
So any thoughts, I guess?
I mean,
Yeah.
We could have a second public hearing next Tuesday, and then right afterward have an action item to waive the third if we choose. And then right after that, if we waive the third, we could have an action item to approve or change everything to residential.
And you can, yeah, it is approved. I think with having basically no written.
Right, no
No
oral.
negative comments. I mean, I think that's that second route is that, where you have your second meeting and then the two afterwards. The two agenda items.
We could do
To
that
me,
all
I think
next
that would be in
Like
order.
your Dennis.
I don't see this as being an item that's gonna cause
A lot of controversy.
controversy.
So we'll go that route, Kyle. We'll just have it on the agenda next week for the second reading. And then
Possibly waive the third.
possibly waive the third. And then have a motion item on there if we want to just approve the change.
Rezoning.
Approve the rezoning change from agricultural to residential.
So we do need action.
Pass.
So we need a.
So there is a discussion and take action of the first reading.
So do we need a motion to approve the first reading or to just have the
Yeah,
public
The
hearing
first reading
passes that?
passed by the Board of Supervisors, so you do need to take action on this first reading. It is on the agenda, we'll discuss and take action.
First,
Already.
first reading.
Okay,
Oh,
Already
I
done.
was looking below.
motion was
No,
by
you're fine.
Gene to approve the first reading.
Yeah.
Is there a second?
Yep, I see it.
Second by Kyle.
That's okay.
We have a motion and a second to
Sorry.
approve the first reading. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carries. Thank you, everyone.
All on the agenda for
Next week.
next week.
We'll get all that on there.
Thanks, Tim, and your zoning commission.
Yeah.
Move on to resolution 2026-32.
Oh my gosh.
Try that.
Oh my.
That's contentious.
Gatto, no. You have his email? I do. I'm gonna get all the Gatto quick so he comes up, so the next item he can talk to you
All right.
about. Here. Turn around.
We're just taking 2-minute recess.
2-minute recess for. I've got a trucker's bladder, I'm good.
On the zoning.
Yeah.
This side over here, right next to a cattle pasture. They shit in the field, a little bit of wind, they're gonna have an issue. Smell?
Be up to, get sell
I
it.
guess that'll have to be the property owner's choice who wants to purchase that.
If you want to purchase it,
I haul about 18 tanks of shit through there too, so a farm on top of that hill.
just don't spill
I know. I mean, my final question is moving a partial residential into an agricultural area. Is there any laws or is there any issues they have?
Once it's passed, so
No.
if there was
That's
zoning,
why we-
that's why these zoning meetings happen,
Okay, I was just asking a question.
Yeah, nope.
I didn't know.
yeah. I mean,
if we get this first reading out, then people become a little bit more aware of what's going on. There may be questions and concerns. Because at the next one, and if you hear none at the second, we can skip the third, but now people are aware.
The gentleman that owns that first pasture lives up in Battle Creek.
Yep.
He just
We've
bought
had
that.
Who's the guy next to Jared?
And then the other one, Wessel's.
That's a boy.
It's Wessel's farm on top
I
of
did
it.
not know that.
And then to the east of that would be Lowry's and Chad Peterson owns that, or farms that farm, so.
There's a nice old dirt road
to the
in
east.
there too.
Yes.
Sweet.
Like Chewy owns, that was actually my grandmother's.
Was it really?
That was an old Brennan Prairie farm, I don't even know that far back in history.
Heck,
That's talked our historian.
Yeah, because Wessel's bought that farm just right next to Chewy's farm there, and that was your grandmother's
Was there
farm.
an estimate in the thing for?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Yeah, and that, when I was little,
There's
I
a
was
difference
helping my uncle
between
Mike
this.
grease things one day.
And
Fire old bee,
Yeah.
taking that out across the pasture, dump some rocks over the banks. And I'm holding on to the back of the seat, we were standing on the tongue, and you know how that bar came around that pad, we never stayed on there.
Yeah.
I hung by my thumb, but I still got the scar.
That we all have it.
My hand slipped down, my feet fell off the tongue on a bounce.
So you're talking the Keating side of your family.
Okay, yeah,
Other than you said Mike, that's like last Mike Keating.
yeah, that was the Keating side, that was my grandma's. It was on her side, it was, actually wasn't even the Keating side, it was Grandma Keating.
On that side.
She said it was, she always called it the Gremlin Prey Farm.
Okay.
That's a bad name.
So Terry, you have information on this resolution, correct?
Yes, for the repayment. No, yeah, temporary, yes, payback of the temporary operating loan. The loan was made the end of June in the amount of $39,982.15.
This is something generally that we do on an annual basis.
Yes, yes.
And it's easier.
I think it's due to the delay of revenue for HICMs.
They have grants that they have
Yeah.
to take care of that.
And they have to be at a zero because they're always a wash. They're a equal in and out due to grants.
It's a temporary loan until they can get.
Get all that revenue in.
Get us paid back.
Monica,
They now have them.
yeah, it's always, I think it's always been right around there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, so it's always the same amount.
I think anybody that wants to pay back a temporary loan, it's a no-brainer to make an improvement.
I was reading your mind.
It's with no interest, right?
Correct.
Just kind of a tweak since the banker was giving us it.
Troublemaker.
So we have a motion, is that Gene, to approve
Yeah, I made a motion.
resolution 2026-32 to pay back the interfund temporary operating loan? Motion by Gene. Second.
Second.
By Ty. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Oh, I'm sorry, it's roll call by resolution. Gene,
I,
Ty,
Aye.
Kyle.
Aye.
Dave.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carries. Move on to estimate for heat pump loop filter in the jail. That's why Mr. Gatto is here.
I thought the filter was a go already, so.
we spent money before we approved it.
But they want to know about the problem with the heat pump stuff.
So
How
Okay,
does he-
so right now, the jail runs on a geothermal loop, like geothermal for a house or whatever. The problem we're finding is the last few summers with it being as warm as it's been, we're running out of capacity in the ground for storing the heat. So normally right now in average system, we're gonna see groundwater temps in the 73, 75, maybe even 78 degrees for the heat pump loop, which is optimal about where we wanna be. Currently, the jail loop is running at about 102. So there's no more capacity in the ground to store heat. So this becomes a problem because with those higher temperatures, we're starting to trip the heat pumps out on high pressure. And then they fail, lock out, and then we lose cooling in different areas of the jail. So last night I was up here and basically what we did is we isolated the ground loops and kept all the glycol in them and just we're running straight city water through the primary loop in the building. And we're using that 50-degree cold water, domestic water, to cool the loop and run the heat pumps. The problem with that is we're just dumping thousands of gallons of water down the drain right now. We're shut off right now. In the process of adding stuff last night, we had a fitting break. So we're replacing that fitting now. And we're actually putting the taps in for the heat pump loop filter while we got the loop down. So.
Can you continually just run the water and pay the fee for the water on an ongoing basis? Would it continue to work that way or?
It will. The problem you run into is you're introducing all sorts of oxygen into your pipes.
So with a closed loop system, the goal is to pull all the oxygen out of the system because you need oxygen for rust. If there's no oxygen, there's no rust. All the pipes are black iron.
Gotcha.
We run a glycol system in the loop right now, which we've saved all the glycol that's in the ground loop, which is the primary of the volume. But it has several inhibitors and that in it to protect the piping, which we've been plagued for years with leaks down there anyways. So
How long has that system been in the ground?
when was jail built? 2005.
So ever since the jail was built, it was
Yeah.
built, put in with the jail.
Yeah,
Okay.
so
Okay.
in doing some of the research on this, my belief is we've completely dried out the ground below. So most of the time wells are in a field, whether they be vertical or horizontal, grass, whatever. So every time it rains, the ground resaturates. You get that benefit of groundwater and rainwater saturating the earth, giving you some cooling capacity. But with these, everything's under parking lots and everything's under streets. So I've done some research. I did find one occurrence where they actually mapped out where the wells were and drilled holes and injected water into the ground.
I thought. Would that be? My understanding is they're in that bank. That's why we can't do much with that bank. They're trying to want to landscape it and we've all like, the loops are in there. You
The
can't touch
Buffalo
that.
Grass Bank.
I've never seen the map, but my
I
understanding
never
is,
have either.
my
I'm
understanding
finding
is
it.
they're
I'm
underneath,
looking for it.
is they're underneath the parking lot in front of the jail to the south. That was my understanding on it.
Well, I'm not,
I'll find it.
I don't
yeah,
know. If we
Because I
can,
think
if we can
too-
find a print,
Who built it? Who?
jail.
Yeah.
I believe,
You're talking about the
Remember?
parking lot like where you guys park?
yeah,
It's under that?
I believe so. That's from my
Maybe
understanding.
they go out that way, but I don't know.
I know,
We could speculate all day about
Yeah,
that.
I-
Till we
I
find
don't
out.
have any concrete evidence to support that.
I know
That's
we
what I
have
had been
plans
told
and
at
stuff,
one
but
But
we
point.
it's
just
the
need to find them.
prolonged droughts that we've had, lack of moisture, that makes
Well, and
total sense that we losing.
anything that's
Cooling
under
capacity.
concrete, it's just cooking that moisture out of it
Correct.
Right.
and it never comes back.
Right.
So,
But you think there's a way we can remedy it with saving what we got by drilling holes and pumping water?
And the jail it's lasted work for.
I watched one video on guys that did that. I don't know that they were maybe the most credible people I've ever seen on a video. But the other option is you could add in a heat exchanger with a air-to-air heat pump on it. So we could put into the building controls that once the loop reaches a certain temp, we would turn on a pump and run through that heat exchanger and we would cool the water with the heat exchanger.
Call back out.
Yeah. It's the exact same, DMU has the exact same thing. They have a geo system and then they have a heat exchanger that they can cool the loop in the event it gets too warm. Just to
How many
give,
ton unit is
how many
that,
tons?
you know? We're
I
trying to figure out how
believe-
many loops there would be.
There's probably 10 or 12 loops in the ground.
Well,
I believe there's like right at 9.5 tons of cooling.
I was gonna say 10 tons, I mean, basically, there's
Yeah.
usually a ton per loop is what we put
Yeah.
ours in.
So it's the ground that's temperature that's at 100 and, what'd you say, 100?
102. So
So it's the ground.
last night when I got here, we were sending 115-degree water to the ground and bringing back 101. So
Contributing global warming, literally.
Which I
So
mean-
what do you estimate the cost to
I
be?
don't even have numbers to give you on that.
Okay,
Are you
Right
talking
now.
specifically the agenda item?
yeah,
4,800.
4,800.
That's for
Yeah.
the filter.
So this is different than.
That's different. So
Okay,
the other thing is, many, many moons ago, when they set a light pole somewhere, they hit the ground and broke it. It's been repaired, but we've been plagued with this loop being dirty and nasty for a long time. It plugs strainers on all the heat pumps, so part of our planned service yearly is we go through and we pull the strainers, clean them, flush. But until we really clean this loop, the best way to do it is run everything through a full loop filter. It's a stainless steel canister, maybe a foot tall, or a foot in diameter, 2 foot tall. And all we do is we siphon off the discharge of the pump into the filter, and it just pushes water constantly through it, and it catches the sediment and the dirt before it makes it.
So is this something you would have to do on an annual basis? Or is this?
Does it
continually?
It doesn't continue.
Okay.
Once it's done, it's there, it's
You
done,
just gotta change the filter.
and you just gotta change the filters
Gotcha.
How often do you gotta change that?
when they get dirty.
Warm, cold?
No, we'll put a pressure gauge on it,
Okay,
and once we start seeing a differential,
so it works a lot like an oil filter then, on a big truck. I
yeah,
can see pressure building.
kind of. We're not running 100% of the flow through it, because you run the risk if you take a big slug of dirt and it plugs all those filters up, then it starves everything down the line, and this is a slow way of filtering everything out.
So is this budgeted? I mean, is that in the sheriff's budget to do this, or?
Well, it's not the sheriff's
It'd be a
budget, it's a
capital.
courthouse budget.
It is a courthouse.
Yep,
Okay, and we always do capital improvement amount.
yeah, it's not really capital, I don't think, but we do have funding in there to do stuff like this.
What would this, what would it be under this?
4,800.
What
Oh,
if it ain't capital funding, what would it be? under?
Courthouse.
courthouse,
Courthouse itself.
maintenance, heating and cooling.
It sounds like we need to move forward with the
So that
filter
improved, no, it isn't improved.
and then decide what to do with
Right.
loops.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'll get a proposal together on what it'll cost to add, the heat exchanger, the air-to-air heat pump system, and pumps, and the control additions to do it. Because with this filter system, the taps we're using for it, we won't have to shut down the whole system. We can just isolate and then go off the taps that we're using to add pumps if we decide to do the heat exchanger, the auxiliary.
So we're, that was fine. Right. So I'm thinking outside, we're dumping treated water down, we're running it through and just dumping it, right?
Right now, we're just running city water through.
So it's not a closed loop system right now.
Why can't we be dumping
It
it
is
over
very
where our
much so.
suspected wells are so we can saturate that ground? Instead of running it down, gonna go down
To water the bank.
100.
You know, the problem though is if it's underneath that market, how do you saturate that?
So I mean, until we find out exactly where they're at.
Right, I'll
Right.
find those.
Find the map, what a mess.
The video I saw,
Did they drill a hole through the concrete? Is that what they did?
We'll probably have water in our basement again.
in forewarning, these guys were doing HVAC work barefoot.
Okay.
But
Well, then you're overdrive.
they drilled a 1-inch hole through the concrete, and they took a 20-foot piece of 1/4-inch pipe, welded the end shut, and then drilled a bunch of holes in it. And then they drove that 20-foot pipe down in and then hooked a power washer to it. And they said they were running it for like 5 minutes every hour, 8 hours a day for a week to resaturate the ground.
Was this in Florida? They're resaturating the sand.
I wanna say it was in like Tennessee or Kentucky.
Explain the bear.
Well, I mean, to be fair, the ground is extremely dry. I think DMU, when they started pumping water out of the river onto the well fields, they had would be only like 2 million gallons and then hadn't even left a puddle yet. It was a sizable amount.
We are dry. We all know that. That's Tim was.
It's gotta take, it's gotta take its toll on geothermals. Makes sense.
That water acts as a giant battery for you.
Well, thank you for your knowledge. It's nice to have someone that,
Now we actually got an understanding of
Yes.
what was going
all
on.
right,
We do.
you're explaining it
Not a problem.
to us.
We were asking Terry all these questions. So it kind of like you want to-
Craig, you want a motion?
Yeah, we need a motion, I guess, to approve that $4,800
Filter.
heat pump loop filter, right?
Obviously,
That's
we
the
need
word.
that filter.
We need that,
So
right?
moved.
Second.
Motion by Dave, second by Gene. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
That grass hasn't even greened up on the bank this year.
Well, that would explain why. Hotter under the ground than it is in the, well, not right now.
Move on to the courthouse generator maintenance renewal.
Thanks. If you guys do have any questions, I think most of you have my cell phone number.
Unless you've changed it.
Please call.
Thank you.
That's all.
Have a nice day.
Yep.
Thanks.
So Cummins does our maintenance work for the generators. And they sent out the planned maintenance agreement. In the amount, let's see, the full service, yeah, there's two parts, and mechanical and electrical. Together, it's $1,562.62. Year for a year. This is for more than 1 year.
They come and physically inspect them on an annual basis?
Yes.
Yeah,
And service.
yeah. January is the full service inspection in July. January's full service includes oil sample and then an inspection in July. So, yeah,
That's about right, like what I paid for mine.
I think that's what we paid last year too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went and looked as soon as I got this. Sure that was the case.
It's very important that we keep our generator up and running and in advance, and they come and make sure it's gonna run when we need it, so. I say, motion to approve that maintenance agreement.
Motion by Gene,
I'll second that.
second by Kyle. Any further discussion? Roll call, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carries. Move on to that was in our packet, the approval or disapproval of the July disabled veterans homestead of military tax credit applications.
There was one in there that they recommend, well, the program's no longer available. So all of their recommendations.
Yeah, they left their folder. Did you look through all
I
that?
did.
I did.
We did, right.
Do it as a whole.
As a whole, I think
I
is just
think
to,
so.
Prove it as a whole. That's
Yeah,
what we've always
there
done.
was one denial in here.
So we're approving the denial, we're approving the request.
Yeah, yeah, as presented.
Or as presented.
Yeah, yep.
Motion to approve as presented.
motion by Kyle. Second by Ty. Any further discussion? None. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Move on to the vehicle assignment take-home policy. Yes.
I'm gonna give that to you because they all meet.
Right.
Okey dokey.
We've had, I guess, is there any further discussion or anything that somebody wants in or taken out of the vehicle policy? I mean, I don't think we're ready to approve it as it's written yet. But I think we're just here for if there's anybody's got any input from the public or from other employees perhaps that they'd like to have in there. Where after as supervisors, you thought about it and said, hey, I really want to make sure that this is part of the policy. I guess now would be the time to have that discussion item.
It does seem lengthy, but it does cover all the bases. Amy's shortened version is very good, very good. And I also think that having the the questionnaire, take-home policy request form, it's important to kind of see the why for and the how come, and see if it fits within the guidelines that say that's what qualifies for government vehicles to be taken home on a regular basis. So I think we need to leave that in. And I don't have any problem with the extra words, so there's no questions, as far as, yes, it's a little longer than we used to. But,
Well, like we discussed last week, I think there's definitely a policy and then there's the procedure. That would be
Right.
probably what I would maybe suggest we split apart the policy from the procedure.
There we go. But there,
Policy would be a lot shorter, might be more on Amy's version.
correct,
And then we'd still have the policy determining, according to IRS and code, whatever, that yes, you do qualify.
in order to be fair, and it's not just because, well, that's what we want to do. It has to have a rhyme or reason why that vehicle goes home every day and every night. And I think the reason, the questions would fit, and, how often in the last 12 months did you need to have, did you have emergency response from home, a response time, equipment that you carry, mileage, how far you're gonna have to go. It's so-called the checkbox list of what you need to ask to find out if it qualifies, so, yeah. Call it the policy or the procedure. I want to find out why these vehicles and if they really fit into our reasoning of why they need to go home every day. I also like the grading, the evaluation, and the scoring part of it. So that's good. So emergency and urgent response outlined outside of normal hours gets 25. A lot of vehicles that the county needs to wonder why they're going home.
Well, how many did Ben say? That was in secondary roads. Was it, did he say 35?
35, 36. Right, one day you asked me that question, I just said that like, yes, well, actually 51. Not my head, county vehicles that we have. Not all of them go home, but.
Right.
Yeah.
But the biggest majority of them do.
Well, secondary roads only has 5, I think, that go home, right? 4 or 5? 5.
And that, but once they go through the scoring and evaluation worksheet,
Think that may change for some employees?
I don't know, I have.
Moving forward, if we go through the
I
scoring
would not
system?
have a.
But this was spurred by the discussion with IRS and,
Right.
through my research of like, well, we don't even have a true policy. I mean, I think we have some in the handbook, but we don't have a policy, which the IRS says you should have a policy in place to determine who gets to take a vehicle. So, kind of how it's got started.
Okay.
It wasn't meant, it's not meant to, it just, no, we don't
Little
have this.
housekeeping.
Let's get this done. Who knows what we'll find? I don't think we'll find much of anything. I don't
So
think
your scoring method came up from,
IRS,
that's theirs.
that's kind of their, how you determine if you get to take a vehicle.
Okay.
Law enforcement is immediately. I don't want to say grant, except, yeah, good word.
But I don't know
But I
if that,
still think Department Roger, we should at least fill them out so they're on file, that, some insurance reasons, yeah. But, yeah.
Why is this person having a car, having a county car at home? Here's why.
the one
Law
question
enforcement.
that jumps out is, in the last 12 months, how often did you have to respond to an emergency?
And that's what the IRS says,
Yeah,
there,
so-
I mean, you gotta have them for reasons other than just,
Yeah,
and here, I think your point about, was it in the contract, I don't know that,
yeah.
if somebody got hired, we hired IT director, we had hypothetically,
Right.
well, we'll give you a vehicle.
But how much value do you put on that vehicle when you start talking about, the tires, the oil change, the fuel, which would you know, and the wear and tear and the extra miles that you put on that vehicle, where you could have used that vehicle for 3 extra years if it was, we weren't putting 50 miles a day on just to get back and forth to work, which the average person has to have all those expenses on their own dime when they have to have a car to come back and forth to work. So it's a valuable benefit that you have if you're given a vehicle to drive as you please, back and forth to work, back and forth to lunch, no expectations.
It's what the IRS puts a value on for your taxes.
Yeah.
It's like you ruin one tire. and You got your money back.
Yeah.
You know.
I think it's important to have that in there.
So is there any changes, I guess? We've got Amy's 2-page,
I'm just still working to
Policy.
pull them apart.
okay.
And I think with Amy's rendition of what she put together is really condensed and simplified some of it. But,
She used AI also.
well, yeah, that was at my dealer meeting in Lincoln. They said that the AI is a tool that, you know, not just, they were talking about it through the seed industry, about how we need to start utilizing the benefits of it more. I still worry that one of these days it's gonna be like a Terminator movie and we will have computers running around. It's there now. Supervisor.
So I mean, we kind of talked as a board, I guess, that to kind of focus on the data center policy initially, or is this something we want to do together at the same time?
We're
Go
so
through the
close.
process? I mean, I think we're pretty close here to having something in place, right?
Yeah, I think so too.
This isn't urgent. It's not like,
It's not urgent.
it's not urgent. It's just something, a little housekeeping. So if anything's gonna go on the back burner, it could be that. And I do believe data centers needs to be focused in on and get that. As to the.
But like Kyle said, I mean, this is something that's burned through IRS and that we don't have, and
Yeah.
we need to add. I think we're close to.
Yeah,
I say
I
we
mean, it
just,
could stand as, right now, we could pass it as a whole and right now, but I think we as a board want, I think we need to condense.
Okay.
It's quite lengthy.
So you're going to continue to work on that.
I will
Right.
take that.
I will continue to
Okay.
put my input in on that.
Give your input to Kyle.
I do. He still
Yeah.
takes my phone calls. I can't believe it.
So September
can't either.
1st would be the first Tuesday of September. You want it back on the agenda?
Yes, put it on September 1st.
Okay. Same with the amendment.
If we don't get any more rain, I think fall or the season will be starting to. Which means it gets done early.
Maybe rain this week.
It just means snow's coming.
Have you seen any rain this summer?
This weekend.
Fog days. Count the fog days.
So,
Well, something, either blistered hot or it's gonna rain.
we'll move on then to the budget amendment evaluation guideline policy. I guess any other same kind of scenario that, I guess, does anybody have any thoughts additionally from what we originally talked about? That they'd like to have now, like to have changed in the policy, Gene?
That one's closer, I
I was
think,
gonna say that would
because
probably
I think-
go to print tomorrow
I
or
think we
whatever.
could-
I mean, that's
we-
pretty simple.
it's just simple. You just can't spend the money and then come and say, oh, I don't even know what happened to the money. Well, I need it, but I need it. But you have to give it to me because I already spent it. So we have to kind of put the horse back in front of the cart.
Again, it's not saying you can't get a budget amendment, it's just when you come to us, we want to kind of
You need
detail.
to be accountable.
Right.
How
And I think
play it
that's what
out.
it shows is
And don't
puts
spend it
accountability.
and then come and tell us we have no choice because it's already been spent.
I think what we're trying to head off is the want spending that happens prior to something that now you need. You know what I'm getting at?
One, there's always, like we all know, there's unforeseeable things that happen that.
Yeah.
We didn't budget for. And we have to be flexible to cover that, but we also just need to watch so that it isn't just spent. And I'm not saying that any department head,
No,
What if the state gets their way?
Can it move to the next year's budget
Right.
and actually be budgeted for and included, or,
so
yeah, those kind of planning.
We're not gonna have a lot of extra money.
State makes us burn our
People gotta
reserves.
learn to stay in their budgets, or they might have to learn to tell
You
people.
can't
no.
levy for more money. You have a lot of money, actually.
We're supposed to
but-
learn to tell people no. Our department heads are gonna have to learn to say no to.
We do have.
And we really
do.
want this, but
You do,
We do.
we can survive without it.
as far as levying for more.
Gonna be.
Yeah.
But I think just a request form is a nice uniformed way to get the word out there, so I like the.
The way they did that property tax is a slow roll of tax reduction.
Mhm.
If that's the best way to look at it. I mean, because every year we're gonna have, as the cost of living goes up, we're gonna have less to spend each year. From now until they deem to change it again.
Yeah, and if you, I'm curious, over 10 years, you follow what that cost things
I'd like to-
are versus.
I'd like to see that line graph,
Dropped at,
what that looks like in 10 years.
start to
I'd
really.
like to see what it looks like in
Yeah.
5.
Big gap.
We might not make it to 10.
Well, I guess if there's no
We'll be out
changes
here
in this,
with
we can
candles
put it
on
on
the
an
board.
agenda to.
We can put it on next week's agenda to approve, right? Nobody's got any changes?
Wasn't it discussed, take
I
action?
mean,
We actually could.
we could take action today.
Mhm.
I don't know what we're gonna change.
Let's
Who's
get a
got the
hard
final
copy.
policy? Where's it at?
Let's
I
get a
don't
hard
think I
copy of
have
it in
it.
our
Okay.
pamphlet. There was
Just
one
got the
last week.
reservoir.
but I'm
Yeah,
not
I
sure
don't think I
whether-
have it.
This
So
wasn't on
next
the
week
agenda,
then.
but it was in the packet. So I'm gonna
What?
make a copy, the reservoir stuff.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
So let's get a hard
That's
copy in the
All right.
packet.
We'll put a hard copy
So
in next
next
week's
week?
file
Yep.
All right,
Yeah.
sounds good.
That way we actually
for
have,
final approval.
have something more than just.
Okay.
Ty, what I'm worried about on that is like our 200,000, we take from rural basic and put it into White Rock. We
Yeah.
know that directly helps our gravel farm market roads in the spring.
Yeah.
Start to look at where do you whittle away? If you start to whittle away at things like that,
We'll away for a few years and then you're gonna be in a mess.
right,
Yeah.
you
I
can
mean,
go so
that's-
long and then you're gonna have that cliff and.
That's a want ahead of a need, but eventually it'll become a need. Like Kyle said, because eventually it'll become a mess.
I think when we're behind the eight ball, yeah, how do you catch back up?
I think we were there when your dad sat on this board, that it wasn't a need, it wasn't a want. And the board took the initiative at that time, says, we need to get more rock on these roads.
And that was a way to do it.
Yeah, could we go by a year or two without it?
When it's been dry like this, we've been doing pretty decent. But what happens when we get some soft soak and some soakers? And start softening up the subsoil? You know, because our subgrades, even on our highways. I mean, look at what they had to keep fixing before we started to do the overlay over on L51, because a subgrade that's not quote unquote stabilized to standard.
But even your point, I mean, you've said this before, what we buy today is the most
Cheapest.
cheapest we're ever
Yeah,
get.
that's right.
So, I mean, if you start cutting back, that's gonna catch you on the back end too.
Amplifies the problem.
Right,
Sometimes it makes you wonder what the state legislatures and the governor's response would be if they said you can only grow 2% over your budget from the year before. What would their response be? We'll move on to the proposal for the fire alarm system for the jail. I guess, is there anyone?
Like ours, maybe noisier.
Is there anyone here, I guess, that can explain what we're doing or what I would assume we already have a fire alarm system in our jail currently, so then
We
this
do,
would,
but I think they're having issues with
this
it.
would be replacing the old one.
I believe so.
Correct.
It says.
Oh, Roger.
Wasn't here.
Okay, I didn't see Roger here.
Yeah, it would be replacing the old one. Apparently this one has been throwing up some faults for the last 3 years. And no company, the old company is no longer in existence and nobody has any parts that are able to fix it. So the other day we had a fire alarm go off too, and with the fire department downstairs trying to reset it, there was some issues. It was throwing all kinds of errors up. So I guess our other option, our only option is to replace it. That's what the estimate is in front of you from Phil Security. And then they're talking, we may need a 120 volt circuit, and that's another 1,375 from an electrician.
So Roger, was this the one that was put in then when the prison, when it was built?
Yes,
Original.
so it's dated as well.
It's
Right.
probably why you can't get parts.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, you didn't have this budgeted as a budget item for this fiscal year?
No, we didn't know anything, that there was issues with it, until they came and tried to fix it again, tried to clear it, and they weren't able to clear it.
What kind of time frame can they put it in if we put in a new one?
I have no idea how long it will take to change it. I mean, it's still operational. I mean, obviously it went off the other morning when they were cooking some meals, but it's just the error codes. I think, yeah, some sensors, they're having problems with sensors and stuff, so.
I told my wife the fire alarm is not a boot timer.
You're gonna be eating at the cob pretty soon.
I was thinking the same thing.
Any other thoughts? I guess it kind of sounds like it's something inevitable. It needs to be done. I mean, things don't last forever, unfortunately.
Can't go
And there are funds available in
Not
the
an option.
And
capital,
there are funds available in our
especially
capital.
since we're not doing that street thing.
I do have a
project.
question for Roger, though. I mean, there is discussion with the addition of our facilities used to prepare food. Do we need to, while they're working on this, is there anything that have they suggested we should probably have in that area now, Roger?
Like venting,
I don't think anything
saucepans.
different needs to be done according to them, so.
Okay. Because I never gave that a thought. I know we're.
You don't want to have to add something after the fact.
Right, and maybe that's something we can ask them about too.
I think that's a worthwhile discussion to at least why they're there.
Prep going on.
We got to tell them we got some food prep in this area. Do we need to pre-wire anything for, this code's 31,000, but yeah, that'll be an additional, but we can wire it accordingly now.
Right, and it may be as simple as just moving a sensor away from the stove if that's what the issue is right now.
Yep, and yeah, simple as that.
Want to do that?
Well,
Stand or put a different type of sensor in there instead of the one that's there now.
Yeah, maybe a heat sensor instead of a smoke sensor.
Smoke sensor, yeah.
Yeah, put a heat that will drop it. Unless we don't get air conditioner fixed, we don't want it. All the heat sensor.
Seems like a
Well, we
combination.
gotta bake in, we gotta bake in some contingency plans here.
Literally.
Thanks, Roger, for coming on.
Absolutely, thank you.
Anybody, any other questions or anything for Roger?
I don't.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion, I guess, to approve that fire alarm system quote, which was what, 31,000 even, or
$27.05.
And it could be a possibility of another
1,300?
Yeah, a little more for an electrical.
Right.
Hey, which is high for burners.
What's that?
I don't think there's an option to have.
Well, we do
a
have.
fire
Yeah,
alarm.
it's in the budget.
So,
We don't have to do a budget amendment for it.
No, this will be under capital.
Not yet.
Yeah, not yet.
If we keep cooking like this, I've thrown all the tons in there today.
You're hilarious.
Hey, you do it on purpose.
Is there a motion?
Is there a motion to approve?
I will make a
You will,
motion
Jean.
because it's not an option to have a fire alarm at the
Yeah.
jail, so we have to go forward and make sure that.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, second.
Second by Ty. Further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries. Move on to citizens input. Anybody, I guess, here in person have anything they'd like to bring up?
I'm just here, in case you had questions for me, honestly.
Oh.
Or give you clarification, since the vehicle policy specifically regarding me has come up a few times in the last few months.
Okay.
I didn't know if you wanted me to clarify anything.
If you want to, go, I mean,
You,
that,
I mean,
yeah,
you have a contract, right?
I mean, it's not really, I don't know, sign a contract, but if you wanna know the history of me driving the vehicle home, it was when I got hired.
I did clarify, I knew Lance drove it home. And I said, so is that still gonna happen? And they're like, yeah, that's part of being the director. You get that when you're the director. So that's how it was told to me.
Okay.
I didn't ask for it. I did clarify if I was still going to get it. I don't know, to me, that's falls under compensation, which chapter 350.4, section 6 is the conservation board has sole discretion on the director's compensation. Now, whether the county attorney agrees with that, I don't know. That's just the way we've always done it. You know, in terms of responding to emergencies, I do when I get a call. I'm on call 24/7, 365. Technically, I won't say I get called out that much.
Yeah.
I've had people arrested from about South Dakota when I get a phone call. I was in Kansas City actually when there was that drowning on the river. I got a call from the law enforcement center at 2 in the morning or whatever it was, 1 in the morning. I said, well, I'm out of town. You got to call Lakener. Then I called Lakener to make sure he got the call. And they went with the boat. Obviously, you don't want to have an emergency.
No,
But I've never been called to an emergency where I didn't go. So, but in terms of number of times I'm going, it's not a lot usually.
Well, I don't think we're ever, like I said, this discussion was never meant to.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, if there's a contract in place, or like I said, we could have put it in part of the compensation package with
yeah.
our IT director or our janitor, because
Yeah.
those are the only two people who really have control.
But that's-
And I
No,
get
it's
that.
just minor.
Yeah.
And if the supervisors really want to change that at some point, where they prefer I don't drive vehicle home, I mean, that's the end of the world, probably not. But I would say the compensation would be, my compensation would be changed commensurate with the value of not necessarily the value of the tax on the benefit, but on the value of the benefit.
That'd be hard to identify.
Right, I don't even know.
Yeah. 'Cause I'm-
The IRS puts it at like $580.
That's the tax on the benefit. It's $659. Is what came out of my check on 12/18.
So I don't want to put you on the spot as far as what that value, what benefit, so those would be discussions, but we haven't quite got the whole agreement narrowed down.
Yeah, and I haven't seen any draft, anything or anything like that.
There's been several.
Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah.
It's a great benefit.
Yeah.
Everyone knows that. I know I was up here when the tax started, which I don't know if it's been 10 years now or whatever. But because originally I don't think we were paying the tax, and then the rules changed or whatever. And I sat here, and at the time I was like, well, it is my vehicle has lights, sirens, police radio, I respond to emergencies. It's marked whether I should pay the tax at all. I don't know all the ins and outs of the IRS code on that. And I sat here and said, well, obviously, I'm not gonna worry about, like, if you wanna charge me a tax, that's fine. If that's the rules say, that's fine, because obviously no one's gonna feel sorry for me because I have to pay $650 a year to take a vehicle home.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I understand it's a significant benefit.
We're working on it.
I don't
So
think-
thank you very much. for
Hopefully you
coming
don't
up
feel
with
like
this.
anybody's picking at you, because it was just something where we're trying to update.
No, I don't think anyone on the board was picking.
Okay, I just didn't want to make
No,
make sure.
I just
that
thought,
We're trying to update.
I watched the meeting last week, and I know Amy had said a few things, and I know my situation may be different than some of the others.
You
That
just
I
gotta
don't
be
feel
in
hired
compliance
at
with
or
federal and state law as well as what
Right,
we're.
As far as I know, that's why we have to start paying taxes with the federal law. I was paying that tax out over a decade or whatever it is.
Very minor. I think it's important to kind of update it for the,
Yeah, I don't.
we don't even know how many people, well, we kind of do, but to have a guideline on why that qualifies.
Yes.
Is it how we defend it to taxpayers that ask us, well, why do they get to take a vehicle home? And it's not necessarily even you, it could be anybody that's taken a vehicle home and they've never been called out ever, and there's really,
Yeah, and you don't want to get called out, that means there's a problem. But
And would it be less expensive for taxpayers if on that rare occasion that someone got called in, we would pay the mileage for their personal vehicle to come to the emergency than to have that vehicle out there in case once every 5 years they have to use it that way. So that's kind of how.
that just comes down to, response time.
Right.
Will be lengthened or whatever, if you have to go get your
Right.
vehicle or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I mean, but yeah, these things maybe don't happen a lot. I have no idea about other departments, how often they're doing stuff.
And we don't either. Yeah, so we're good.
But we're just working on a policy that says,
Yeah, no, I just,
Chris Grouse has one,
I just
Joe
know,
has
I thought
one,
I'd clarify and.
Sandy has one, and, and they've been signed out on it.
And as you can see, we take our time making these policies. We ask a lot of questions, we take and we put away, and then we think, some.
Yeah, I mean, nothing was done in secret or anything
No,
like
no,
that.
no.
People see me.
So I
driving
think
back
Gene's
and forth.
famous for always asking, we're doing it just because we've always done it this
That's
way.
my favorite, that's
Right.
the least thing I want to hear. I don't know why we do it, it's the way we've always done it.
Right.
And it's my
So,
comeback is,
right.
have we always been doing it right?
Exactly.
And with the change, the whole world is changing, so.
Yeah, all government appreciate, so. Like my wheelhouse.
To be
right there.
continued. I see we didn't make a motion yet to get that completely done.
Yeah.
We haven't. I appreciate you coming in, so we could just ask you a few questions that we
Yeah.
don't know.
If you have any questions for me, I'll do my best to answer them.
I got your number.
Any other input, I guess, for citizens input? Thank you, Chris, for being here. Anybody out in Zoom land? Have any input for the board?
Propane tank. Keeping it on.
If not, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Motion by Kyle, second by Ty. All in favor, say aye. Motion carries. We stand adjourned.
I was gonna say, I've been